So it's the Environment Community Services Committee, in case anyone's in the wrong one. No, good. That's a good start. Do we have any? No. The meeting will be audio recorded, and those in attendance should refrain from making any defamatory statements. There are to be no other recordings of this meeting without prior authorisation of the committee. Okay. Do we have any apologies?
Nil received, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can I have adoption of the minutes from the 11th of October? Move Councillor McPhee. Seconded Councillor Campbell. Any discussion? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Any declarations of interest?
Nil received.
Any public participation?
No public participation, Madam Chair.
Nil site inspections. Let's move on to business items. And I think all the information we need is in our paper. So if there's any information on any of them that we need through the director, please ask that, like I said, if it's not in the business items. And it is, we're going on to ECSC 11.1, development application number 105, 2022, subdivision of lot 1 into 2 lots. Can I have a mover? Move Councillor McPhee, second Councillor Campbell. Any discussion? Councillor Flaherty.
Yes, I know the reasons for rejecting this application. I'm just more broadly concerned about the housing pressure in this shire and people not being able to get housing, people not being able to do developments. And I'm wondering if the restrictions we have on land like this, like it's still a reasonably sized block that could easily accommodate 2 dwellings. I'm just wondering, what are the mechanisms for starting to have some flexibility around planning that people can actually build houses in this town?
Would that be in relation to the LAP changes? But I'll leave it to you to answer.
Can I just clarify which application you're referring to?
We're starting with the first one where they're going to subdivide for the first one, Caulfield Place.
Yeah, so through you, Madam Chair, this one for a subdivision of a commercial property. So it's not residential in this at all. So it's all stable.
So it's established that we can't subdivide there either, so you can't establish a business or put a building up.
This land's already developed. Through Madam Chair, this land's already developed with existing horse stables, horse walkers. So it's not for residential purposes. But the issue with this particular development is that the proposed lot sizes are well under the minimum lot size, 1 hectare. The clause 4.6 variation that was put in to vary the development standard hasn't really provided adequate justification for the variation. There's issues with the water and sewer services as well. They're actually private lines, they're not public. Under the Local Government Act, there should be direct access to a public water and sewer. The other issues, if you look at the lot layout in the report,
Page 25 of the
page 25,
numbered page 23.
you can see that it's not really efficient. The lot layout's not really an efficient or orderly lot layout. It's quite an unusual shape, and there's very little space left on the land on those lots for any other development. And we understand that the adjoining land to the southwest, I know we understand that's currently being used to service this development, and it's not part of the site. So there seems to be a lack of space on these lots already.
I'm fine with that.
Did they say what they wanted to use it for?
Well, the existing uses would continue, so which is horse stables and horse walker.
So why would they want to actually subdivide it if it's one owner and continued use?
Through Madam Chair, I'm assuming it's because they want to obviously whether looking at splitting the ownership or selling off one of the lots. It's probably a question more for the applicant.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Yes.
Councillor Campbell.
Just by reading it, am I correct in the fact that basically it's because the sewage and water facilities are not privately, they're connected to a sewage, not connected or able to be connected to the town sewage system. Is that correct?
Through Madam Chair, the town water and sewer network actually extends into Rose Hill Road, I think it is, but doesn't extend as far as this particular property. So from the point of where our services finish, it's actually a private line that services this lot and a number of other lots out of that precinct. We are trying to address that issue, and I know we're currently assessing an application from Race New South Wales for a stable complex, and that particular issue of access to water and sewer is being considered as part of that application, how we address that issue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just further to that, if those issues were addressed and it could be connected to the town water, would that change this application?
Through you, Madam Chair, the other problem we've had with this application, as I stated before, is that the minimum lot size for this land is 1 hectare. These proposed lots are only 2,300 square metres each, so well under the minimum lot size out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Any further questions? We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour? Against? So carry the recommendation to refuse development application number 105 2022 for the subdivision of lot one lot into 2 lots at lot 810 DP 1061912. I didn't have to read all this through. Hawkville Place scheme, and the reasons are given in attachment 1. Nearly there. That's 32. Moving on to development application for multi-housing dwelling, ECSC 11.2. We have a mover. We have Councillor McPhee, seconder. Councillor Campbell. Any discussion? Questions? Councillor Flaherty.
Chair. So this is an example of where we could be expanding residential accommodation and can't. And is that because of our restrictions that in the LEP that we can't have lot size that small there, or what's the rationale?
So through you, Madam Chair, the main issue with this particular development is the stormwater drainage. The site slopes falls to the rear from the street. There's no stormwater easement at the back to allow stormwater to drain from the site. This proposal is to construct a new dwelling at the rear and then have a charged stormwater line from the rainwater tank to the top of the property, to the gutter, Barton Street. The problem we have is that the hard standing services on the site can't get into that system. They still continue to drain, to fall to the back of the property and then potentially into adjoining land. And there's no way of conveying that stormwater to council stormwater network. So we are concerned about impacts on surrounding properties from stormwater. We are aware there's issues up in that precinct at the moment with stormwater impacts on properties.
Councillor McPhee.
That's through you, Madam Chair. I believe that there was a concern, and the neighbours actually, they talked about an easement, but there wasn't compliance there, so that was also an issue. So they've tried to address the issue, but it hasn't been able to resolve. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Madam Chair, I'll also note there's a couple of other issues with this proposal as well. One is the driveway access. They're proposing a gravel driveway to try and address the stormwater issue, but we would normally require a sealed driveway in these sort of situations. And obviously sealing a driveway generates more stormwater runoff to then have to deal with. The other issue is the width of the driveway. It's only about 3 metres wide for most of it, which means 2 vehicles can't pass, and you've got 3 dwellings proposed, which could be problematic at this point of view. There's a few other minor issues that have been identified in the report as well, such as lighting and safe pedestrian access as well. But the main issue for us is the stormwater management.
Any further questions? Got a mover and a seconder. All those in favour? Against? Carried.
50.
My computer's just doing the same thing again. Just doesn't like me sometimes. Okay. Development application for a dwelling and a shed, which is ECSC 11.3. Have a mover for that recommendation. Is that grant consent? Move councillor McPhee. Second councillor Campbell. Any discussion on this one? No discussion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. That one.
Yeah.
Okay. Gives us to the end of our meeting.
Thank you.
Thank